We are playing one of the scariest games of Tetris you have ever seen. So I'm trying to rearrange some things so I can work on the 180. However, we've got to move some cars around to make some room so we don't have problems like this. So we've literally picked up the 180 and this 13, put them right next to each other, move the lower forward, the 180's there. And then I've got these two scary, scary cars. Would you mind? Sitting there that I am terrified to touch. Meanwhile, Benjamin's just like, yeah, she'll do, whatever. Like a mill. Right, what we're trying to do is now sandwich the Laurel between the FD and the 13. But the FD is quite low, so it takes forever to jack up. And we can only move it so far because Ray is a wide body as well. Do have a bit of room on this side, but all of these cars do not run, so we're doing this all by hand. I really gotta change those front wheels over there. Ooh, motors everywhere. FD's so pretty. Alright, we're gonna move some stuff. I'm trying to vlog here. So we're gonna try and squeeze the Laurel in. In between here. God, it's close. Yeah, that's pretty close.
Yeah, it's Japanese mirror bumper party.
Jesus. How's the soak? No, I have not seen the, well, I have seen a little like YouTube stuff, but I want to see the auction yards. Is that your handbrake?
Eve.
So both these guys have no motors. That one was once upon a time an SR, and this one was once upon a time an RB20. Now it's a nothing. Yes. What are you going to put in it next? A JZ? Non-VVTI 1J that's got the guard on top of it?
Non-VVTI.
That's what I just said, non-VVTI. What colour is it, Benjamin? Coca-Cola?
Yeah. Random mixer, boost, smashing, repairing,
Got a bit of a wide body on it. It's a nice car, but it hasn't been doing much for the last 4 or 5 years. This one does actually have a motor in it.
Just clear that side.
Oof. God, this is gonna be scary trying to fit that in here. Whew. Alright, you guys can watch the madness. This is madness! This is Sparta!
Hit something.
What? You get the audience. God.
You almost hit another one there.
He says that, and yet.
Look, that one hasn't even got some mirrors folded over yet.
Huh?
That one hasn't even got some mirrors folded over yet.
Because it has aero mirrors. They don't fold, Benjamin.
I can give it a swift kickbox folder.
Oh, kickbox you. We somehow managed to fit, what, five cars in here? Side by side? But now I'm kind of stuck. This way. So I can't really move this one. It is way too much of a hassle to move. It's not really worth it for just a foot. Now Ichigo comes back in. So we squashed 5 cars in the back. and we've just pushed all the motors over, pushed the tyre changer over, and now I have enough room to work on the body moulding of this car, hopefully tomorrow and throughout the next couple of weeks. As you can see here, I am playing around with some cardboard boxes and some widths at the moment. This is not what it's going to be, but it just gives me an idea of how wide I want to go, the height of the vehicle, and where I really kind of want to start building this body kit. So I don't think I've mentioned much about this yet. What I intend on doing is creating a unique wide body for the 180SX. So tomorrow I need to pull off my rear wing, and roll the car out and put some expander foam on it. Now this is not the expander foam that comes in a can, this is the stuff that a lot of the fiberglassing shops use. And what you do with these is you cut them out into the shapes that you like, and they shave down really easily. Like you can see that it's like pretty much turns to sand. It goes everywhere, it becomes really messy. And I've made a bit of room at the front here so I can work on the 180SX. So I'm starting with the rear over fenders. They're not exactly going to be over fenders. I'll explain more in the coming vlogs of what the plan is with this car and what shape and where it's going. It's a bit drastic. It's going to be super cool, and I'm super keen to get into it. I have never done bodywork in my life. I have not ever touched fiberglass. I haven't done any metalwork, nothing. Like, this is not my thing. I am out of my comfort zone entirely. So this is going to be a big learning curve, and honestly, I think it's probably gonna be a lot of fun as well. Doing my own bodywork for the first time ever on such a large scale, straight off the bat, is scary as. I have no clue what I'm doing, and I'm just gonna have to learn as I go, watch a ton of YouTube videos, and talk to a lot of the guys in the field about it that I know. It's so hot. So what I need to do tomorrow is I need to cut up my expander foam into the shapes that I want. So I'm going to start with the rear quarters of this car. I may have to pull the glass out, but that'll be very soon. I'll also pull the hatch out because I need to custom make my own hatch to run the idea that I have in mind. Like I said, wing will come off, tail lights will come off, rear will come off. This is what I'm going to be working with. Just a stock 180SX body. Now, when I'm doing this, I'm going to make sure that I minimize as much molestation to the car as I can, because as you guys can see, the car constantly evolves and changes, and if one day I get bored or I decide I want to change it up again, I have that option there. So my number one priority for this car tomorrow and for the next couple of weeks is to play around with this expander foam, get it on the rear quarters here, and experiment with creating the shape that I want for these custom over fenders. Now I'm going for a bit of a supercar look. It will be ridiculous, it'll be wide, it may be very controversial to start off with because it's going to look different. However, it's what I want to do with the car, so I'm really keen to get into it and see how it's going to turn out and where it goes from there. I don't know how long it'll take me, to be honest, I have no clue. But I've got all my stuff at the back here. Oh god, alright, I'll get through there in a second. Let's explain that in a sec. So once I'm done with the rear over fenders on both sides and I've got the shape that I want and everything's how I want it and it's molded in, the rear hatch I'm going for, like, again, a supercar look, and I'm going to go for like a rear Lambo style hatch. It's going to be vented because I'd like to run a boot mounted radiator setup for the JZ. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to keep it a single high mount or if I'll go a twin turbo again and maybe try that route, and then sort out what I want to do with the back of the car. I haven't decided that part yet. The front is the easier part, however, I can't do anything on the front of the car just yet until I send it off to the panel repairs because the front needs to get straightened still. So this is just me playing with boxes, don't worry about this. This is just a bit of a prototype and a bit of a fun design, and I was kind of going for a bit of a silhouette look / old school J-tin, just to muck around, have some fun. Turned out pretty cool, but it's given me an idea of like the kind of shape I want to go, the width I want to go, the height I would like to keep the car at, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's going to be a big job, and I cannot wait to show you guys what I come up with. So before we wrap this up, I'll show you a menagerie of items I had to pick up just to get my head around what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. To do that, we need to get through these guys, so long way. Okay, so I'll go through these tomorrow properly and show you guys, but we've pretty much got a bunch of gloves, a bunch of bog, some sanding equipment, what are they? There's some scrapers and things, so for my FD cover here. I've got some sanding paper, masking tape, bunch of knives, some masks, some gloves again, some safety glasses. So the fiberglass that I was talking to about this idea recommended a whole bunch of stuff, so I've just gone out and gotten everything that he told me that I should probably use. And one of those things was, he just told me that green stuff gets absolutely everywhere like dust. So it comes off like sand, but it floats around everywhere like dust. So I'm going to try and keep that out of my eyes as much as possible and stick with some really funky looking safety glasses. And they're not exactly the COVID type, but these will do, just to keep that dust out. So the things I had to pick up off the fiberglass, so I went down to pick up, where is it? All the fiberglass, which is currently under here. There's a big roll of it. Sorry, I'll clean all this up tomorrow when I show you guys. So this is my catalyst, and this is my resin to do a light coat of a fiberglass layer, which is what I have the fiberglass at the back here for. So I have to make like 3 things. I have to make the base of the shape of what I want to make. I then have to create a nice smooth layer for that. So I have to fiberglass it up, create a nice layer, polish it, pretty much make it so it's as smooth and as shiny as paint. I can actually create something called a plug. So a plug is like the part that goes on top of the part that I'd like to create. I pull the plug off, and then the plug pretty much becomes the female part that you then create your third and final part out of, like the good copy that's going to go on the car. So it's a little tedious, it's a lot of work, and it's kind of scary to know that I'm just going full head in on something this big and not really knowing what I'm doing. It should be interesting, and that's how we learn. So I'm going to give it a go and see how it turns out. And if it fails, then I'll try again. Alright guys, we will go through this more in detail tomorrow. I am sorry for the random sporadic vlog and the content. Hopefully you guys actually enjoyed us as being idiots tonight. So if you've ever wanted to know how to make your own custom parts, make fiberglass, body kits, wide bodies, anything like that, hit that subscribe button, because this channel will be vlogging each step of the entire way of this 180SX build, and I'll be learning at the same time that you guys are. So it will be a journey, and it will be fun, and there'll probably be some mistakes, and there might be some really cool stuff that we'll learn as well. We are up to 538 subscribers. It grows every week, and I'm super grateful. Thank you very much. I am going to be into my cars as much as I can, so I'll be vlogging everything. So if you're bored, if you're at home, if you need car content, join me and we'll go on an adventure. Alright, it's really hot, so I'm going to go now. Have fun guys, until next time, lokiSX out.
Oh, sleep up.